Welcome to this edition of the First Aid Show. There are many different types of recreational drugs available. We asked a paramedic what types of drugs they come across and how you manage the scene.
At the moment, the biggest risk is fentanyl coming in. So that's the synthetic opioid. And people are mixing it in with all sorts of drugs. When they take that, it's very likely that their breathing will be reduced or stops, and then you eventually go into cardiac arrest. So it's a very potent drug and it has some very strange effects on people, and it's a time critical emergency. If you find somebody that's not breathing and there's any evidence that they may have taken drugs or anything containing fentanyl and they've gone blue and stopped breathing, you must call 999 for help. It's a massive problem in America and Canada, but it is moving across this way. We encounter people taking recreational drugs regularly. You can be a highly effective member of society with a high flyer, with a successful business, and you in your spare time may be taking drugs, and the effects of drugs are that you want that hit and you become addicted to that hit, and unfortunately sometimes you get caught by the drug and you get progressively onto stronger things that have more adverse effects and start to take away all the stable things in your life. It's not for us to judge. If that has happened to somebody, we just make sure that we get them to a place where they can be treated and get the support they need. You will notice that somebody's behaviour may be changing. You may notice that they've become secretive or they've started putting more money on their credit card. It is so easy to get hold of these drugs. You can get them on the internet. Once somebody finds a way to supply them to you, they will find so many different routes to make sure that they're accessible and that you have a ready supply because they want your money. But yeah, it's so much more commonplace than you would imagine. Often you will find that certain environments, like for example festivals or parties, there may be the smell or paraphernalia around that indicates the type of drugs that are being used. You might smell a really strong herbal smell, which is very typical for anyone that's smoking cannabis. And the most likely side effects of that are big dilated pupils. People might be in a relaxed state. They may have, fallen asleep. It just makes people very relaxed. It's not ideal if people have been smoking cannabis and they choose to drive. And that is becoming more and more common, that we're seeing road traffic accidents caused by people under the influence of drugs as well as under the influence of drink driving. So it's more and more common. If people smoke drugs, another clear indicator is they often will have discoloration around their fingers, and you might find evidence of small rolled up cigarettes and joints and things like that. We don't typically get called to people that have had too much cannabis. It's usually when they've had a mixture and a cocktail of drugs together, and then it's caused some unwanted side effects. So you might find that people have had a mixture of drugs and they may have passed out, and then people have witnessed seizures. We get called to those sorts of jobs quite regularly. One of the unwanted side effects is sometimes the drugs are mixed with different chemicals and substances that are unknown to the user, and it can sometimes cause some psychosis and unwanted thoughts and hallucinations that can be very distressing for their friends and family to witness, and makes the person become very difficult to control and reason with. Cocaine is another drug that we may be called to as a medical emergency. Often the patient will be able to tell us how many lines they've taken and what method they've used to take it. We might see credit cards, we might see some powder, some sort of sediment around their nose or mouth or places like that. The risk with cocaine is it elevates your heart rate, and sometimes that can go to such a dangerous speed that you're at risk of your heart stopping. And it can also cause your coronary arteries to go into a spasm. So you will in fact start to experience chest pain and breathlessness, the same as somebody having a heart attack, because of the side effects of the cocaine. And again, if somebody's experiencing those symptoms, call 999, it is a medical emergency.